It's game 2 of the Western Conference Final here from Winnipeg at Canada Life Center, home of the Jets, as they have a 1-0 series lead, as the Minnesota Wild are once again in town for game 2 in a best-of-7 series here from Winnipeg. The Jets lead the series 1-0. Minnesota looking to respond, and away we go here in game 2. Sit back and enjoy this one. Scheifele brings it up initially here for the Jets. Drops it off for Connor. Connor dangles and waits for help. Into the slot. He fires a shot. Score! Right away! And the Jets are off and running. Kyle Connor on the initial possession gets it in. And what a start. Kyle Connor now leads the Stanley Cup playoffs from all the teams in points. He's got 18 points, and he scores a goal 24 seconds in to give Winnipeg a 1-0 lead. And now right back in come the Jets to the other side, and Velarde, that one sticked aside, and it comes to the near side. Middleton gains control for Minnesota, and they will get it out of the zone for the first time. Nyquist brings it up. Inside, Hartman denied by Hellebuyck. Comes up to Scheifele, brings it up ahead for the Jets. Scheifele drops it off to Mello. Downstairs, Connor, backhanded try save by Gustafsson. A lot of action here in the first minute of play. 18:55 to go opening period. Already 1-0 Winnipeg on top. Nemestikov will face off against Gaudreau. And it's controlled by Minnesota. Ehlers, what a play and what a stop by Gustafsson. Beautiful look there by Ehlers. As he knocks him down, takes it over, and then the backhanded try, and a great stop by Gustafsson to keep it out. Winnipeg on the attack here early, 1-0 Jets. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. In their own end, Spurgeon will get it out, and up ahead, Johansson taken off his stick by Sandberg, and right back in is Ehlers. Ehlers, a shot gloved down by Gustafsson. We are not even 2 minutes into this game. Winnipeg already has 5 shots on goal. And what a start for the Jets. This crowd is energetic here early. Face-off control by Minnesota. And the Wild will get it out of their zone. Here is Johansson up ahead, drops it off for Zuccarello. And he gets taken away from behind by Ehlers, who has been all over the place in the first couple minutes of this game. Perfetti brings it in, drops it off for Nemestikov. A shot blockered away by Gustafsson. Comes to the near side. Minnesota trying to get it out, and they will as Chisholm brings it up. Now Zuccarello with it, drops it off for Gaudreau. Gaudreau taking off his stick in the left wing circle, and it goes to the far half wall now. Zuccarello gets it back along the goal line. He is pestered but not out. Zuccarello tried to spin and fire, no, and Ehlers recovers the rebound. And Perfetti will get it out of the zone for Winnipeg. Perfetti to Nemestikov, drops it off to the point. Hinstroza takes it away, and it goes out of the zone. Offsides is the call. A lot of action on both ends of the ice already here. 1-0 Winnipeg. They scored just over 20 seconds into this game. And now a face-off coming here in the neutral zone. Controlled by Minnesota. Off the draw, Fulgino. Inside, Hinstroza flips it towards Hellebuyck, who covers the puck. 3 minutes gone by, and already 9 shots on goal combined, 6 for Winnipeg. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. Up to the point, Merrill off the body in front, gets it back, tries again, no! Rebound controlled by Winnipeg for a moment, they turn it over. Into the slot, loose puck floats out of the zone. Good defense there by Winnipeg. Minnesota trying to get right back in. Fulgino brings it. Strosa puts it in, the equalizer. Past Hellebuyck, and Minnesota has tied us at 1. And what a start here in Winnipeg. Game 2 starting off with some fireworks here tonight. Marcus Fulgino, 8 points for the Wild this postseason. 1-1 is now our score. 16:28 to go in the opening period. 3.5 minutes to get 2 goals, and we're tied at 1. Agassian gets knocked down from behind, and that's a penalty. Easy call there on Tanev. And Minnesota, fresh off of a goal, will now get a power play. Brandon Tanev, who came over in the middle of the season to Winnipeg from Seattle, gets called for cross-checking, and Minnesota's going to have a power play here for 2 minutes. 2-minute minor for cross-checking on Brandon Tanev. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. Boldy fires, save Hellebuyck, and he stops play 6 seconds into the power play. 12 shots on goal combined already, 6 for either side. We're tied at 1 here, not even 4 minutes in to Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. Faber up top, Boldy off a body in front, deflects off the wall, and now back out. Faber downstairs to Nyquist, into the slot, back in and tries, stopped by Hellebuyck. 19 seconds gone by on this power play, another stoppage. Minute 41 to go on the man advantage here for Minnesota. Face-off controlled by the Wild. Boldy outside Johansson. What a stop by Hellebuyck! Right on the doorstep. It comes to the near side. Battle for it along the half wall. Boldy gets free for Minnesota. Behind the net. Out in front. A shot goes wide. Deflects off the backside of the net, and Winnipeg will clear the zone. And they're going to bring it up short-handed. Morrissey tried to drop it off, and a good stick by Johansson from behind. To the far half wall they fight. Just over a minute to go on the power play. Winnipeg trying to battle short-handed here, and Minnesota will get it out. Faber brings it up ahead, 2-on-2 if they hurry. Faber, good cut off there by JT Miller, and he gets it out of the zone. Minnesota gains control at the red line. Zuccarello brings it back in for the Wild. Zuccarello taken off the stick again by Miller. And Winnipeg clears it once again. 37 seconds to go on the power play here for Minnesota. Zuccarello got clotheslined there. No call off of the change, and Velarde flings it down to Ehlers. And now Ehlers gets knocked over, a penalty. He got knocked over the bench. And Hinstroza is going to get called for a cross-check on Minnesota, so we go to 4-on-4, and then Winnipeg will have a brief power play. My goodness. Physical stuff happening here. Already 2 cross-checking calls early in this game. So now we go to 4-on-4. It'll be 4-on-4 for 20 seconds, and then a power play for Winnipeg. Gaudreau takes that one away in the slot, and Minnesota turns back the other way. Fulgino stays on sides, drops it off, a shot tipped around, and oh my goodness! Somehow that one stayed out of the net. It hit off of Hellebuyck, and it might have hit the goalpost as well and stayed out. Face-off controlled by the Jets. Close to the far side. Fulgino's there. Battle for it. 4-on-4 has expired, so now it's a power play here for 90 seconds for the Jets. Pionk brings it up here for Winnipeg. Drops it off for Scheifele, who loses it as it goes to the far side. Sandberg keeps it in, back up to the point, and Pionk. Now Velarde circles into the slot, now Scheifele. Velarde down low, behind the net. Velarde out in front, denied, rebound controlled, and now taken away by Merrill. as air horns start going off from the crowd here as the Jets keep it in. Battle for it on the left wing. Sandberg into the slot. Gustafson holds his ground and stops play with 53 seconds to go on the power play here for the Jets. Faceoff controlled by Minnesota as they'll get it out of the zone. Brazeau pestered, brings it in short-handed. Shore into the slot, fires, saved by Hellebuyck, and it goes to the far corner. Nemestikov gets free for Winnipeg, and now here they come. 33 seconds to go on the power play. Niederreiter, centering pass intercepted as it floats towards Gustafson, who stops play with 26 seconds to go on the man advantage. Faceoff control by Winnipeg. Ehlers down low to Scheifele. Scheifele has it poked away, and Middleton gains control for Minnesota, and Brazeau will feed to Shore, short-handed up ahead. Battlefield on the far wall, big hit delivered as it floats out to neutral ice. 5 seconds to go on the power play. Minnesota with control, and Velarde turns back here for the Jets. Power play over, flips one towards Gustafson, who stops play. So both teams survive the power play for each of their sides. 12:40 to go, opening period. Tied at 1. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Back up to the point and out of the zone. Barron couldn't handle it. Just under 12 and a half to go, opening period. Tied at 1 here from Winnipeg. Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. Nyquist brings it in, top of the slot. Takes it in, wide of the net. Battle for it along the wall behind the net. Morrissey gains control for Winnipeg. Here's Iafallo, who dangles. Taken away from behind. Good poke check there. And Hartman has it behind his own net. Barron takes it away. A turnover. Back up to Tanev, who fires one into the glove of Gustafson. 11:42 to go in the opening period. 10 shots on goal for Winnipeg. 11 for Minnesota. Tied at 1. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Miller downstairs. Niederreiter wide of the net. And Minnesota gains control in the slot, and it floats out of the zone. Fulgeno's there, and then he turns it over to Miller. Lowry sends it around the boards. Bogosian takes a hit from Niederreiter as it floats to the other near half wall. And Bogosian gains control for Minnesota, and they feed it up ahead. Now they backtrack and wait for help. Merrill will start the break in here for the Wild as he feeds it around. Stanley wins the race for the puck, and Winnipeg will get it out of the zone. Niederreiter feeds it in. And Strosa takes a hit in front of the bench, keeps it alive. That one looked to be offsides, no whistle. And now they turn it over here to Winnipeg. Stanley back the other way and taken off his stick at the red line. Bogosian intercepted in center by Lowry. Lowry gets pestered in front of his bench. Battle for it over there. Minnesota gains control for a moment. Battle for it along the half wall, and it squirts back behind to the trapezoid. Johansson looking for a pass out in front. Takes it in himself, and it's denied by Hellebuyck. Might have gotten tipped around as well. And now here comes Winnipeg. Ehlers looking for a center as he takes it into the corner. Battled for it there with Spurgeon. Goes out in front, intercepted by Johansson, and Minnesota will get it out of the zone. He gets knocked down, Johansson does. No whistle as they play on. It floats all the way back, Minnesota gains control. Big hit along the boards. Physical play happening on both ends of the ice. 9 minutes to go, opening period, tied at 1. Minnesota gains control on their own end. Brazeau bobbles it for a moment, has to backtrack. As Minnesota will bring it in finally. Here's Shore, who flips it up to the boards. Sandberg gains control for Winnipeg. Velarde offsides, way offsides. And a stoppage with 8:27 to go in the opening period. 12 shots on goal for Minnesota, 10 for Winnipeg. We're tied at 1, and we had a couple early goals, 20-something seconds in for Winnipeg, and then 2 minutes in for Minnesota to tie it. And now we've kind of hit a lull back and forth. DeMello brings it in for Winnipeg, looking for a center, downstairs, and a denied by Minnesota. Velarde into the slot, Scheifele, that one goes wide, and it hits the glass and stops play. Face-off control by Winnipeg to the point. DeMello lets it fly. That one goes wide. And Tanev keeps it alive. Back up to DeMello. DeMello back up, but errant pass, and out of the zone it goes. Winnipeg will have to tag up, and Iafallo just sends it in. After a hot start, this game hit in a little bit of a lull here. Both defenses finally showing up. Nyquist whipped on the shot attempt, taken away from behind. And Winnipeg gains control. Here's Brandon Tanev who feeds it in. Battle for it along the far half wall. Faber and Iafallo there. Now Tanev over to get the loose change. Morrissey on the point, lets it fly, tipped around into the slot. Tanev has it. Fires, save, rebound, goes wide of the net. Barron back up top to Morrissey. Now Tanev on the shot, goes wide. Iafallo now as it floats back up to the point, and Minnesota gets it out of the zone. Both teams change as Tanev feeds it in. Zuccarello feeds it to Johansson. Johansson to Zuccarello, downstairs, denied by Hellebuyck. 6.5 to go, opening period, tied at 1. Dylan DeMello, a lot of hits this postseason. He's got 30. 6:31 to go, opening period, tied at 1. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Connor will start the break in here for the Jets. Goes to the far half wall, tried to center it, and that didn't work very well. Here comes Minnesota back the other way. Gaudreau taken off his stick by Sandberg, who circles his own net. Leads it up to Velarde. Velarde dangles, waits for help, drops it off. Connor downstairs, Scheifele backhanded try, denied by Gustafsson. .550 to go in the opening period, tied at 1. Winnipeg wins the draw. Miller on the point, fires one, tipped around, goes wide. Ehlers out in front, Nemestikov denied by Gustafsson. Good look there for Winnipeg, and Gustafsson holds his ground. 5:37 to go in the opening period. Both teams with a baker's dozen shots on goal, 13 apiece. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Up to the point, Miller. He's pestered as he feeds it downstairs, now back up top. Miller into the slot, fires one wide. And Hinstrosa recovers the rebound off the wall, and then he almost turned it over. Good job by Merrill to recover the loose change. Bogassian looking for a center. Works it behind the net. Good stick there by Stanley. Win it, keeps it alive. Fulgino off a body in front. Works to the top of the point. Now Hinstrosa. Bogassian now goes wide of the net. Ehlers gains control for Winnipeg, and they'll get it back out of the zone as he feeds it in deep. Winnipeg goes for a change. 4.5 to go, opening period, tied at 1. Fulgino, good poke check there by Stanley. Stanley feeds it up to Lowry, who brings it up for Winnipeg. He takes a big hit at the red line, and here comes Minnesota back in. Shore taken off his stick again by Stanley. A couple good poke checks on this turn for the Winnipeg defenseman. Mason Appleton dangles, fires off the body in front. Comes to the near side. Appleton keeps it alive. Battle for it along the near half wall. Back up to the point. Sandberg fires off the body. Lowry now with it. Score! Winnipeg keeps it alive in the slot. And Adam Lowry gives the Jets a 2-1 lead. Right off the underside of the blocker of Gustafsson. And the Jets have a 2-1 advantage here in the opening period of play. Sandberg and Piont get credit for the assist at the 16-18 mark. Winnipeg takes a 2-1 lead here in the opening period. Minnesota looking for a response, but a good intercept there by Velarde, and here comes Winnipeg back in. Good stick on Scheifele as he tried to feed it in down low. Velarde keeps it alive, and Gustafsson says no. 3:15 to go in the opening period. What a happening on both ends of the ice. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. As they try to get out of the zone, that's a trip. Penalty called, delayed penalty. Shore brings it up. He's surrounded by Jets looking for a drop-off. Nyquist out in front, denied, and a penalty called finally. A trip is called on Winnipeg, Kyle Connor, and Minnesota is going to go to the power play for the second time. Easy call as Brazeau just got flipped as Connor just held his stick out there. Easy call for the officials. So a 2-1 lead for Winnipeg, hanging in the balance. Minnesota with the power play that'll take up 2 minutes of the 2:55 left in the opening period. Faber down low, Zuccarello denied by Hellebuyck. He keeps it alive. Watch out, merely turned it over down low. Winnipeg trying to get it out, but they can't as it floats back in behind the net. Stanley now flips it up. They can't get it out again. Faber on the point. Now Boldy on the other end. Nyquist back up top. Hinstrosa. Nyquist off a body in front. And Stanley clears the zone. Feeds it up to Tanev, who brings it up short-handed. Brandon Tanev fires wide. Comes to the near side, keeping in. Penalty called. Another one. This time it's on Minnesota. On a slash for Nyquist. Ooh. I don't know. Looked like he missed. But either way, a penalty is called. Nyquist doesn't have any argument, so maybe he did something we didn't see. And another 4-on-4 here in this opening period. It'll turn into a Winnipeg power play. After that, Pionk down low to Perfetti, denied by Gustafsson. So 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 10 seconds, 2:05 to go in the opening period. It'll turn into a power play for just under a minute after that. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. Rossi feeds it in deep. Pionk gains control for Winnipeg, and now Barron brings it up ahead. Barron drops it off. Nemestikov denied, rebound, somehow stayed out. Now out in front, it's intercepted by Faber. And Minnesota will clear the zone. Good look there from Winnipeg. Trying into Middleton. Middleton dangles up top. Middleton gets free into the slot. Down low, trying in a shot, denied out in front by Barron. 13 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. Nemestikov centering to Pionk. A shot, couldn't get a clean one off. And Minnesota gets it out. Now a power play here for the Jets. Minnesota up short-handed, and they turn it over to Morrissey. Power play for 30 seconds. Out in front, good block out in front. Ehlers down low, pestered along the goal line. Back up, all the way back, and it goes all the way down. So this will kill some time on this power play. 30 seconds to go in the period, 13 seconds to go on the man advantage. Ehlers brings it in, cross-ice pass to Millard. Able to stay on sides, drops it off inside, intercepted by Gaudreau. Back to full strength comes Minnesota. 10 seconds to go in the period. Back behind the boards, Miller. And that will wind out the clock unless Nyquist can get a look out in front. No, sir. Entertaining opening period in Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. 2-1. Winnipeg has the lead. It's the start of the second period here from Winnipeg in game number 2. The Jets lead 2-1 here over the Wild on their home ice. An entertaining first period. Let's see what comes here in the second. Sit back and carry on here as Minnesota will bring it up initially to start the period. Nyquist circles the net, trying to feed it out in front. Now out down low, and it's knocked away to the side by Hellebuyck. Winnipeg will get it out of the zone. Morrissey brings it up ahead. Morrissey disrupted from behind by Boldy. Connor keeps it alive for Winnipeg. Out in front, intercepted by Middleton. And Minnesota will get it out of the zone. Big hit delivered behind the play. Nyquist 2-on-1, denied by Hellebuyck. And he stops play. 51 seconds in, and already nearly another goal. 2-1, Winnipeg has the lead. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Battle for it along the near boards. Minnesota keeps it alive. Johansson drops it off. Zuccarello off his own player out in front. And now all the way back down. Middleton will start the break in here for Minnesota. Looking for the centering pass, but Pionk never gave him a chance to deliver it in. Big hit on Nemestikov as Ehlers brings it up 2-on-2 if they hurry. Ehlers waits for help. Nemestikov denied by Gustafsson. 19 shots on goal now for Winnipeg, 18 for Minnesota here early in the second period. Winnipeg had the best record in hockey during the regular season, looking to carry that to the final. This one goes down low. Lowry feeds to Mason Appleton. Out in front, Niederreiter trying to spin and fire, and a good takeaway from behind by Fulgenau as he feeds it in. Miller gets crunched along the boards. Big hit on Niederreiter now. Down low, here's Hinstrosa. Out in front, Hellebuyck somehow finds the puck. 17:35 to go in the second, and Hellebuyck makes another great save. Hellebuyck showed it off for Team USA in Four Nations during the All-Star break. Up until that last game against Canada, he has really made a name for himself here in Winnipeg. Stanley is shot. Score! On the follow-up, Mason Appleton puts it in, and Winnipeg leads by 2. Mason Appleton came right down the lane. He got it on the loose change. As Gustafsson made the initial stop, and then Appleton is right there to guide it past his right foot. And Winnipeg leads by 2. It's 3-1. Shaking the head on the Minnesota bench. A 2-goal lead now here for Winnipeg. Nino Niederreiter moves up the points list. He's got 14 on the Jets. And the goal coming at the 22:37 mark. Stanley and Niederreiter get the assist on the Mason Appleton goal. And it's 3-1 now, Winnipeg on top. Bogosian takes it away in center as Winnipeg tried to bring it back in. Minnesota has other ideas. Here comes Merrill. Now Shore brings it in. Shore to Treinen, who couldn't get a clean one off. It goes back behind the net. Shore tried to feed it out in front, and DeMello's right there for Winnipeg. And here come the Jets right back in. 3-on-2. Tannen denied. They score! Second goal of the game for Brandon Tannen. And it's a 3-goal lead for the Jets here at home. Another goal off the follow-up for the Jets. Another rebound chance. This time Brandon Tannen is in the right place at the right time. Back-to-back goals here early in the second. Winnipeg has a 3-goal lead. It's 4-1. Barron and DeMello get the assists on the goal for Brandon Tanev, his second goal of the game. And now Winnipeg right back in. Connor in the slot. Morrissey now tries, and Gustafson finally stops this one. 16:23 to go in the second. Winnipeg taking control here to start the second period. Face-off controlled by Minnesota briefly, and now taken back in control in neutral ice. DeMello flips it in. Minnesota starting the second period on their heels, giving up 2 quick goals. 3.5 minutes in. That looked close to a trip. No whistle. We play on. Battle for it in front of the Minnesota bench as it floats back into the Winnipeg end, and now out to Morrissey. To the near side, Velarde is just off sides as he had a one-on-one into the slot. But the whistle blows and stops play, and we'll get a face-off here in neutral ice. 4-1 Winnipeg. In Game 2 of the Western Conference Final, Winnipeg leads the series 1-0. Oh, big hit in neutral ice by Gaudreau as Winnipeg gains back control in neutral ice. Mason Appleton turns it over to Chisholm. Big hit delivered in neutral ice by Gaudreau. He has the puck now and feeds it up to Zuccarello. And now a good poke check there by Sandberg. Lowry brings it in for Winnipeg and feeds it in around the boards. This one floats towards Gustafson, who covers the puck and stops play. Just over 5 minutes gone by here in the second. 24 shots on goal for Winnipeg, 19 here for Minnesota. Face-off in the Minnesota end, controlled by Winnipeg. On the point, it's Stanley. To the wing, and Ehlers back up top to Miller. Down low, intercepted by Middleton. And Minnesota gains control and feeds it in deep. Battle for it along the near half wall. Foligno escapes out in front. Hinstrosa turns it over to Ehlers, and back comes Winnipeg. Numbers if they hurry. Nemestikov to Stanley. A shot goes wide, and it goes to the far half wall. Ehlers gets knocked down. Nemestikov tried to feed it in, and Rossi takes it away from Minnesota. Here's Hinstrosa. Hinstrosa 2-on-2 and denied as it pops up in the air behind the net. Foligno now works himself to the wing, now back up to the point. Faber off a body, and it goes to the far half wall. Battle for it along the boards as it goes back behind the net. Miller gains control for Winnipeg. And they'll get it out here with Nemestikov leading the charge. Now Ehlers. Ehlers drops it off. Perfetti a shot. Guided aside by Gaudreau. Big hit on Nemestikov. Piant keeps it alive. Drops it off for Sandberg. Now Nemestikov. Into the slot. Ehlers denied off the blocker of Gustafson. Battle for it along the goal line, and Rossi gains control for Minnesota. And Merrill will bring it up here for the Wild. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Good poke check. A turnover. Wide of the net on the shot. Foligno let it fly. Back up to the point, and Merrill couldn't get a clean one off. He turns it over in the slot again. Foligno on the point. Lets it fly. Got it aside by Hellebuyck. Battle for it along the near half wall. Sandberg escapes there for Winnipeg. Good looks there for Minnesota. But Winnipeg holds their ground. Shore backtracks, allows for a change. Turnover nearly in neutral ice. And now a turnover to Piant up ahead. Offsides. Nearly a breakaway chance there for Winnipeg. Got a little too antsy. Offsides is the call. 12:03 to go here in the second. Face-off in center, controlled by Minnesota. Turnover, Scheifele. Connor brings it in. Connor feeds it in and turns it over. Good hit up on top. They're on the point there. Battle for it along the far half wall. Scheifele is there for Winnipeg. Now Morrissey into the slot. Fires a shot, saved by Gustafson. Eleven and a half to go here in the second. Still a 3-goal lead here for Winnipeg. Face-off controlled by the Jets. Scheifele fires and gloved down by Gustafsson again. "28 shots on goal for Winnipeg. 21 for Minnesota. 3-goal lead for the Jets. They lead 4-1. Face-off this time controlled by Minnesota. Battle for it along the far half wall. Floats out to the point. Velarde gains control for Winnipeg. Downstairs, Scheifele denied by Gustafsson, and Scheifele got laid out. Gaudreau, another big hit for Minnesota. As it floats back behind the net, and Minnesota gains control. Spurgeon got laid out, and he is still down. A turnover, Connor, denied by Gustafsson. Spurgeon finally gets back up. He got hammered back behind the net. Let's take a look. Oh man, just meets a brick wall whose name is Kyle Connor. Face off in the Minnesota end. Pressure is on here for the Jets. DeMello into the slot, taken away by Bogosian, and Minnesota gets it out. Holding up ahead, drops it off for Nyquist, a shot, turned aside by Hellebuyck. Nyquist keeps it alive, works himself into the slot, backhanded try denied by Hellebuyck once again. As we approach the halfway point of this game, 3-goal Jets lead. Face-off coming here in the Winnipeg end. Crowd gets quiet now for the face-off. That's controlled by Winnipeg. Battle for it along the far half wall. Goldie nearly had it for a moment. Now here comes Winnipeg back up. Niederreiter. Good poke check there by Faber, who takes it away. Middleton feeds it up to Nyquist, who will start the break in for Minnesota. Nyquist looking for his center. Fires a shot save off the shoulder of Hellebuyck. Out in front, denied, and it goes to the far half wall. Niederreiter gains control for Winnipeg, and now Lowry feeds it to Miller. Brings it up now Mason Appleton, who has a goal tonight. Appleton taking off his stick. It floats back into neutral ice, controlled by Treinen for Minnesota. Treinen drops it off, shore, denied by Hellebuyck, who stops play. We're over halfway through this game now, 9:11 to go in the second. 4-1, Winnipeg has the lead. Face-off coming in the Jets' end. Controlled by Minnesota. Middleton on the point now. Faber off a body. Good block out in front. As it floats to the far half wall. Sandberg gains control for Winnipeg, and they'll bring it out. Here's Scheifele. Velarde took a big hit. Scheifele looking for his center. Drops it off for Connor. A shot denied by Gustafsson. Another stoppage. 8:46 to go here in the second. And similar to the first period, the second period started off with some fireworks, this time just for Winnipeg, but now it's kind of hit a lull. I don't know if lull's the right word, because there has been a lot of action, just both goaltenders holding their grounds well now. Here, as we are over halfway through the second period, Scheifele denied by Gustafsson. And another stoppage with 8:37 to go here in the second period. Face-off this time controlled by the Wild in their own end as they attempt to get it out, and they will. Turn it over at the red line, though. Pionk takes a hit, and the Wild keep it alive. Fulgino downstairs. Hellebuyck almost came out to get it and then thought better of it. Spurgeon floats it to the near side, where it's controlled there by Fulgino. Battle for it along the near half wall, controlled by Winnipeg. Scheifele centers it to Sandberg, downstairs, denied by Gustafsson. Another try for Connor, denied once again by Gustafsson. And Hinstrosa will get it out for Minnesota, up ahead Fulgino. Fulgino fires, and it gets deflected all the way back down. Race for the puck, controlled by Chisholm. Spurgeon up top, Hinstrosa. Sandberg takes it away. Good poke check there by the Winnipeg defenseman. Sandberg feeds it up to Tanev, who gets pestered and turns it over at the red line. Fulgino drops it off. Spurgeon, a shot denied. The rebound goes wide. Iafallo gains control. Battle for it in neutral ice. Floats out to Tanev. Turns it up. Tanev, a breakaway. Tanev for the hat trick. Denied by Gustafsson. Stanley on the point, now Miller turns and fires, blocked out in front beautifully by Johansson, and now here comes Minnesota. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Johansson denied out in front. Nemestikov turns back the other way, and now a 3-on-2 potential the other way, and Bogosian with a good poke check there takes it away from Minnesota as it floats out to neutral ice. Perfetti brings it right back in, drops it off. Nemestikov denied by Gustafsson. Goes to the near side, into the slot. Now back up top. Morrissey off a body in front. Stays in play off the wall. Winnipeg keeps it alive. On the wing, it's Nemestikov. Perfetti inside. DeMello block it out in front. Nemestikov trying to send it through the crease. Goes all the way through. And now Ehlers off a body. And Gustafsson says no. 5:31 to go in the second. A lot of action happening at both ends of the ice. Face-off control by Winnipeg. DeMello wide of the net. And Minnesota gets it out. Brazeau centers to Trinan. Stopped by Hellebuyck. 5:11 to go in the second. So Winnipeg scored 2 early goals in the second period. Minnesota still trails by 3 as they look for some momentum to try to get back into this game for a third period. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Big hit along the boards, a turnover out in front. Boldy, what a stop by Hellebuyck. Boldy now floats this one towards the net, and Hellebuyck covers. What a play by the Winnipeg goaltender, and Boldy knew he had an open look. .4:55 to go in the second. Face-off not very cleanly won by Winnipeg there. And here's Morrissey who feeds it in, allows for a change. 38 shots on goal for Winnipeg, 29 for Minnesota, 4.5 to go in the period. Winnipeg gains control, now a turnover to Hartman. Hartman fires, save, rebound, controlled by DeMello. Niederreiter up ahead to Mason Appleton, who has a goal tonight. Here for Winnipeg. Taken away from behind by Chisholm. Chisholm floats it back to Nyquist. Minnesota trying to start a possession here. Hartman gets pestered at the red line. Chisholm prevents the breakaway. Hinstrosa brings it in for the Wild. It's around one man. Hinstrosa into the lane. Fires, blocked out in front. Good cut off there by Velarde. And Scheifele brings it up here for the Jets. Scheifele drops it off. One-timer goes wide. 100 miles an hour on the shot attempt. Now Scheifele again blocked out in front this time as it floats to Spurgeon. And we've got a Winnipeg player down on the ice, slow to get up. Minor man advantage here for Winnipeg for a moment as they feed it in deep, allow for a change. Hinstrosa drops it off. A one-timer floats towards Hellebuyck, who stops play with 2:51 to go in the second. 4-1 Winnipeg has the lead. Face-off control by Winnipeg in their own end. Tanev brings it in. He's got 2 goals. Breakaway, drops it off. By a follow, denied out in front, and Merrill takes it away from Minnesota. And now a 2-on-2 potential. Gaudreau works it down low, looking for a center. Got a good cutoff there by Miller. Gaudreau out in front, denied by Hellebuyck. Just over 2 minutes to go here in the second period. Face-off control by Minnesota. Faber off the glove of Hellebuyck, and they get it out. Brandon Tanev up ahead. Tanev drops it off for Miller, who has it float to the corner. Faber wins the race for the puck over there for Minnesota. Feeds it up to Shore, who exits. Drops it off for Brazeau. Brazeau taken off his stick by Stanley as it floats to Tanev, who gains control for Winnipeg. Battle for it along the far half wall. Barron escapes the loose change for Winnipeg. 90 seconds to go in the period. Barron, a shot denied, kicked away by Gaudreau as it floats to the far half wall. Ehlers gains control, back up top. Morrissey tipped around, and Gustafsson says no. Minute 15 to go in the second. Face-off control by Minnesota. Middleton turns it over. Nemestikov drops it off for Morrissey, and he's denied. Poked away at the last second by Gustafsson. Behind the net, Morrissey out in front, Ehlers. Poked away again. Good poke check there by Hartman. Now here comes Nyquist the other way for Minnesota. Now Boldy with it. Boldy has it loose in the slot, and he turns it over. 42 seconds to go in the period. Morrissey to Ehlers into the slot. Poked away. DeMello keeps it alive. Fires a shot, save by Gustafsson. 31 seconds to go in the period. Face off in the Minnesota end. 31 seconds to go in the period. Winnipeg leads 4-1. Here in Game 2 of the Western Conference Final. Battle for it along the far half wall. A lot of collisions over there. Spurgeon gets the best of Ehlers there. 15 seconds to go, a turnover. Nemestikov brings it in, fires a shot, save the rebound, they score! Nemestikov on the follow-up! And in the final seconds of the second period, Winnipeg leads by 4. Another second chance opportunity as he wraps it right around Gustafsson. Winnipeg is in control heading to the third period. Nine seconds to go in the second period, and Winnipeg has a 4-goal lead. Face-off control by Winnipeg. As the final seconds will wind down in the period, Winnipeg will backtrack it, waste the timeout. And the Jets have a commanding 4-goal lead heading to the third and final period in Game 2. They lead the series 1-0. They lead the game 5-1 as we head to the second intermission. We are set for the third and final period here from Winnipeg. The Jets have a 4-goal lead in Game 2. They lead the series 1-0. And Minnesota starts the third period here in desperation mode. Winnipeg has taken all the momentum in the second half of this game. Faber, a shot to start the third period, denied by Hellebuyck. 44 shots on goal for Winnipeg, 33 for Minnesota. And a 4-goal lead here for the Jets. Face-off control by Minnesota. Middleton kicked away and covered by Hellebuyck, who keeps it alive. Connor will bring it in for Winnipeg. Connor dangles, fires, save, rebound out in front. Velarde tried and denied by Gustafsson. And it comes out to Hartman. Battle for it at the red line. Nyquist gains control in neutral ice. Back in. Boldy pestered. And Faber backtracks. Feeds it in along the boards. Kyle Connor with it for Winnipeg, and he feeds it to Scheifele. Scheifele downstairs, intercepted by Hartman. Loose puck on the goal line. Velarde gains control for Winnipeg. Out in front, a one-timer by DeMello off of Gustafsson and out of play. 18:40 to go in the third. Just underway here in this third period. Minute 20 gone by. Face-off control by the Jets. On the point, Pionk downstairs, Domestikov wide of the net. Goes to the far half wall, battle for it. Zuccarello wins the battle, and Minnesota will get it out. Gaudreau to Zuccarello on the trailer. Zuccarello in the slot, and good pester there by Winnipeg. A shot got off by Zuccarello, and it comes all the way back down the ice. No icing as Chisholm gains control. Spurgeon poked away, keeps it alive. Up top, Zuccarello, the one-timer denied by Hellebuyck. There's one goal given up tonight by Hellebuyck, and it came early in the first period. He has held his ground very well in this game. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Turnover, Fulgino downstairs, and Stroza kicked away by Hellebuyck, and Pionk gains control for the Jets. Mason Appleton takes a hit in front of the Minnesota bench. Fulgino gets a hit off in neutral ice, keeps it alive, and feeds it in. Sandberg turns it over. Hinstrosa to Fulgino. Back up top, Merrill lets it fly. Tipped around and controlled by Winnipeg. Appleton circles the boards. Minnesota able to get it out. Ross across the red line. Rossi tried to center it, and Stanley did a good job out in front. And now here is Winnipeg. Mason Appleton brings it in. Appleton down low. Denied by Gustafsson. Bogosian turns back the other way for Minnesota. Bogosian looking for a center. Brazeau down behind the net. Out in front, Appleton disrupts as it floats right through the blue paint and away. To the far half wall, Miller battles for it. And he gets it out as Miller gets knocked down. A penalty is called. Penalty is called on Minnesota. Delayed penalty here. Extra attacker in momentarily for Winnipeg. Connor circles, fires, tipped around. And Winnipeg gains control. No whistle yet. Tanev, who has 2 goals tonight, back up top to Stanley. Floats it inside. Finally, Minnesota touches it. And a power play on the way for Winnipeg, up by 4. Cross check on Jakob Trinet. So Winnipeg with a power play already up by 4, looking to take very much control of this game. Face-off control by Winnipeg, but it comes all the way back out. Ehlers brings it in, dangles a bit, looks for a center, drops it off into the slot, it goes all the way through. Scheifele keeps it alive. As they work it down low, Minnesota gains control, looking to clear the zone, and they will. Battle for it to neutral ice. Middleton brings it up now. Faber, shorthanded for Minnesota, taken off his stick by Kyle Connor. Ehlers brings it back up for Winnipeg. Center to Velarde. Downstairs they work and taken away by Minnesota. Gaudreau for the Wild, now Faber. Drops it off. Nemestikov takes it away at the point. Just over a minute to go on the power play. Perfetti brings it in. Tried to center it, and Chisholm is there for Minnesota. And they get it out of the zone. Here's Nyquist, who will try to bring it up shorthanded here for the Wild. Nyquist looking for a center as he works it out in front. Score! On the one-time try, Chisholm puts it in. And Minnesota, with a shorthanded goal, is back in this game. What a strike on the great feed out in front. The shorthanded goal for Chisholm, and Minnesota is back in business. And this crowd is quiet now, back to a 3-goal game. 5-2, 49 seconds to go on the power play. Shorthanded goal for Minnesota. Bogosian brings it right back in shorthanded and then taken away by Pionk as he tried to feed it in down low. Niederreiter up the near side, looking for the centers. Works it to the far, near half wall, and Brazeau takes it away. Here's Shore back the other way for Minnesota as he feeds it in deep. 20 seconds to go on the power play here for Winnipeg. Ehlers brings it in, poked away beautifully by Spurgeon. Battle for it along the near half wall. Spurgeon escapes and brings it up Minnesota. Here's Shore, feeds it in, and they'll kill off this power play, and they got a shorthanded goal on it as well to get back within 3. Kyle Connor takes a hit. Ehlers keeps it alive. Connor takes a hit again as they battle for it near the red line. Scheifele escapes. Scheifele drops it off. Ehlers up over to Morrissey. Connor now down low. Morrissey. Morrissey back behind the net. Disrupted by Gaudreau, who takes it away. Trying to clear the zone, and now they will. Up ahead, Johansson, 2-on-2 if they hurry. Now 3-on-2 in favor of the Jets. Drops it off, a shot off a body in front. And Tanev recovers the loose change for Winnipeg. Just under 12 and a half to go in the third in a 3-goal game. Barron trying to get his way around the defender, and Chisholm takes it away. Hartman feeds to Boldy. Boldy downstairs to Hartman, a shot off a body in front. Stanley gains control for Winnipeg. Stanley sends it around. Under 12 minutes to go in regulation time. 3-goal lead for Winnipeg. Minnesota trying to get back. Boldy drops it off for Hartman. Now Nyquist in the slot, taken away from behind by Iafallo. Battle for it along the far half wall. Iafallo gets knocked down from behind. Got to be careful of the penalty there. And Stanley intercepts the try out in front. Stanley waits for help. Behind the net, Tanev out in front. Missed on the shot attempt. A whiff job out in front. And Middleton brings it up for Minnesota. Middleton drops it off for Faber as it goes to the far half wall. Faber into the slot. Downstairs, battle for it in the crease. Boldy turns and fires and denied by Hellebuyck. 10:49 to go in the third. Minnesota, you can feel the momentum shifting their way a little bit as they try to claw their way back into this one. Face-off control by Minnesota. Faber, a shot denied by Hellebuyck. Minnesota keeps it alive behind the net. Hinstroza turns it over to Niederreiter. And here comes Mason Appleton, feeds it up. Breakaway. Niederreiter is in and denied by Gustafsson. 10:28 to go in the third. Face-off control by Winnipeg. Sandberg has it exit the zone, so left to tag up. Sandberg gets crushed along the boards, but Winnipeg keeps it alive. Here's Pionk. Pionk drops it off for Sandberg. Now Niederreiter, top of the slot, denied out in front. Appleton recovers the loose change for a moment, and then Spurgeon, with good defense there, takes it away. Over halfway through this third period now in a 3-goal game. Chisholm stays alive. Fulgino on the near half wall. Bolgino gets pinned up against the wall there, a battle for it. And Minnesota is able to keep it alive. Hinstrosa now gets pestered in the corner, and now Winnipeg takes it away. Ehlers backtracks, allows for a change to the near side. Pionk. Perfetti brings it in. Perfetti cuts to the net and denied by Gustafsson. Perfetti back behind, floats it to the near half wall. Ehlers is there for Winnipeg, but then he turns it over, takes it right back, drops it up for Stanley. Up top, Perfetti downstairs off the goal post, stays alive. Nemestikov down low, back up to the point, and Pionk. Pionk has it float out, and an offsides is called. Winnipeg with a post job there down low as they try to add on to their lead. Face off here in neutral ice. Controlled by Minnesota. As Bogassian sends it to Zuccarello. Downstairs, denied by Hellebuyck. Goes to the far half wall. Johansson down low. Zuccarello back up to the point. Bogassian lets it fly. Goes wide. Tipped around and controlled by Hellebuyck. 8:06 to go here in the third. 5-2 Winnipeg. Minnesota desperately trying to get back into this game. Time becoming a factor now. Face-off controlled by Winnipeg in their own end. To the far side, this is Velarde who backtracks and now feeds it up to Stanley, who nearly turned it over, but Kyle Connor is there. Kyle Connor dangles, drops it off for Stanley, a shot off a body in front, and Zuccarello gains control. Johansson takes a big hit in neutral ice. Velarde gets flipped, upended, oh my goodness. Pops right back up, he seems to be okay. Big hit delivered in front of the benches. Nyquist brings it in for Minnesota. Nyquist behind the net, Boldy. Boldy out in front, denied by Hellebuyck on the one-time try. 7:02 to go. Hellebuyck has played an excellent game here tonight despite giving up a couple goals. He has been lights out for Winnipeg here. Face-off controlled, not very cleanly. That might be a penalty there. No whistle. They play on. Tanev, who's already got two, looking for the hat trick, denied by Gustafsson. 6:46 to go in the third. Face-off controlled by Minnesota. Under 7 to play here in the third. Brazeau feeds it in. Race for the puck controlled by Shore. Out in front, they score! What a play by Shore! It's Brazeau who puts it in! And Minnesota's back within 2. What a play! He wins the race for the puck and then just feeds it right up in front, and Hellebuyck had no chance. And Minnesota makes this a little interesting here in the third period. Brazeau's 11th point of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Beautiful feed out in front by Shore, who gets the first assist, Middleton the second, and it's 5-3 here in the third period. Minnesota right back in. Faber a shot, blockered away by Hellebuyck. Goes to the far side. Big hit on Iafallo. Tanev gains control, and Winnipeg will get it out of the zone. Here's Morrissey, now DeMello. DeMello poked away and turns it over to Faber, who turns right back up for Minnesota as he feeds it in, allows for a change. Morrissey gains control for Winnipeg. Under 6 minutes to go, regulation time. DeMello poked away to the far side. Trinan feeds it in again. Both teams change once again. Morrissey pestered but not out. Pionk now gets it away. Pionk takes the hit. Nemestikov brings it in. Nemestikov out in front, intercepted by Faber. Nobody home there for Winnipeg. Bolinode gains control. Hinstrosa And Strosa drops it off. Rossi, good cutoff there. And Strosa off the goalpost. Nearly a one-goal game, and he hit the pipe. And Winnipeg survives that attack from Minnesota, and they bring it out. Sandberg on the other end. Drops it off for Perfetti. A shot denied. Might have hit a body out in front. 4.5 to go here in the game. Hinstrosa brings it in for Minnesota. Hinstrosa off a body in front. Good play there by Niederreiter. And now here comes Nemestikov. 2-on-3 in favor of Minnesota. Nemestikov keeps it alive, and Gustafsson says no. Nemestikov is down in front of the net. Appleton to Stanley, a shot. Score! But they wave it off! They wave it off. Nemestikov was right there. He was slow to get up in the blue paint, and that's going to be interference. Nemestikov was hurt down low. He was right there in the crease, and he never got out of the way. So they wave it off, and it remains a 2-goal game with 4 minutes to go. Face-off control by Winnipeg as Niederreiter feeds it in. So a break there for Minnesota. Nemestikov was hurt in the blue paint, and he got in the way of Gustafsson, who tried to make the stop. No goal. Boldy tried to center, and a good play from behind by JT Miller. Under 3.5 to go. Nyquist out in front, a turnover. That one goes wide. Hartman gains control, flings it back up to the point. Merrill into the slot. Nyquist tipped around out in front. It's still loose, and Appleton gains control for Winnipeg. Appleton down in front. Good stick there by Spurgeon, who takes it away on the try for Appleton. Stanley gains control and neutral ice. Minnesota running out of time. Appleton puts it to the near side. Scheifele turns it over to Johansson. Here comes Zuccarello. 2-on-2 if they hurry. Now 3-on-2. They drop it off. Gaudreau off a body. Tipped around and controlled by Winnipeg. And Kyle Connor feeds it to Velarde to the near side. This is Scheifele. 2-on-2 the other way. And they say no. Scheifele out in front. Connor now. Glove down by Gustafsson. Keeps it alive for Minnesota. 2:02 to go in the third. Good looks on both ends of the ice. Face off of the Minnesota end. Battle for it right on the dot. Kyle Connor denied by Gustafsson. Minute 54 to go in a 2-goal game. Face-off control by Minnesota this time. Big hit on Connor there by Bogosian. And here comes Minnesota. Keep your eyes on Gustafsson to head towards his bench. Intercepted in center by Connor. Keeps Gustafsson where he's at for a moment. Kyle Connor drops it off for Velarde. Now Scheifele, a shot denied. Rebound. What a stop by Gustafsson to keep things alive for Minnesota. Minute 22 to go in the third. Face-off control by Winnipeg. And then a turnover in the slot. Treinen takes it away. Keep your eyes on Gustafsson. He empties the net now. Extra attacker in. Brazeau, a shot goes wide. Empty net here for the Wild. Middleton keeps it in. Brazeau in the slots. Denied by Hellebuyck with 58 seconds to go. So the extra attacker is in now here for Minnesota. Empty net for the Wild. In a 2-goal game. Winnipeg looking to hang on. Face-off controlled by Winnipeg. Empty net for the Wild. Iafallo brings it up. Drops it off for Pionk. He scores! The empty netter for Pionk. And the dagger for Winnipeg as they're going to take a 2-0 lead in the series. Winnipeg bended a little bit but didn't break. And the Jets are less than a minute away from taking a 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Final. 6-3 our score, 51 seconds left. And Strosa brings it in for Minnesota. 3-goal game now, 43 seconds to go in the third. Faber fires, tipped around, and Hallebuck finds it. Stops it with 37 seconds to go. What a game all around by Winnipeg. Hallebuck was outstanding, gave up a few goals, but just in the middle of a tremendous game for him. Winnipeg, the offense, 6 goals, 6-3 our score, final seconds. Chisholm lets it fly, deflects to the near half wall. Barron gains control. And now Winnipeg looking to just waste the timeout. Barron escapes the pack. Barron drops it off by a follow shot, gloved down by Gustafsson with 22 seconds to go. So Winnipeg is going to be 2-0 in this series on their home ice. The series will flip over to Minnesota, where they look to gain some much-needed momentum on their home ice. But Winnipeg's going to take a 2-0 series lead here, and the team that had the best record in the National Hockey League coming into these playoffs is about to have a 2-0 lead here in the Western Conference Final. Nemestikov to Ehlers, and a good stop by Gustafsson with 9 seconds to go. Face-off controlled by the Wild as the final seconds wind down. One final try for Pride, gloved down by Hallebuck, and he stops it with less than a second, so we get one more face-off just for formality, and then that'll do it here for Game 2. Winnipeg with an all-around great performance takes Game 2, 6-3 the final score. And Winnipeg has a 2-0 series lead here in the Western Conference Final. And they are 2 wins away from a berth at the Stanley Cup Final. As they win this one on their home ice, 6-3, the final score. They took control of this game in the second. Minnesota had a little bit of a comeback effort, but it falls short. And a 2-0 lead in the series for Winnipeg as they move to Minnesota for Game 3 in 2 days. A lot of action in this one, very entertaining throughout. Big hits, big goals, big saves. Most of them going Hallebuck's way. And this crowd was electric once again as usual in Winnipeg tonight. Final score 6-3, Winnipeg takes Game 2.